just after 3 p.m. On Friday, September 2, 2016, Lauren Landovazo and her friend Makayla Smith, both 13, were taking their usual route home from school. As they were passing through an alleyway in their hometown of Wichita Falls, Texas, a vehicle they had never seen before suddenly came to a stop in front of them. When a young man got out and eyed them up and down, the girls, thinking he was pulling some sort of prank, had ignored him and kept walking. Within seconds, one of the middle schoolers would be lying mortally wounded on the pavement, and the other would be fighting for her life. Welcome to another episode of Human Wreckage. My name is Thomas. This episode we will be talking about horrifying act that Cody Lott committed in taking the life of Lauren Landovazo and wounding Makayla Smith. Let's get into it. Investigators would later learn that after staring Lauren and Makayla down, the driver had retrieved a rifle from his SUV and started shooting. In total, 16 shots were fired, 15 of which had struck Lauren. Makayla, who had been hit in the chest by the first round, had somehow found the strength to run to safety. After emptying his weapon, the shooter had fled the scene as dozens of witnesses, most of whom were also students on their way home from McNeil Middle School, looked on in horror. As ambulances rushed to the scene, word of the shooting spread quickly. When an acquaintance of Makayla Landovazo phoned to tell her that students had been shot nearby, she made a beeline to the site. Upon her arrival, she observed paramedics working furiously over the broken form of her only daughter. Eyewitnesses who were interviewed after the fact stated that they would be forever haunted by the sound of the distraught woman's screams. Lauren's father, Vern, who had left work as soon as he learned of the shooting, arrived a short time later. Unable to process what he was seeing, he convinced himself that his child would be all right. Bianca, who had seen the extent of the damage, knew different. At the hospital, the Landavazos were informed that their daughter, who had just started the 8th grade, had succumbed to her injuries. The medical examiner would determine that she had sustained 15 bullet wounds from a .22 caliber rifle. 2 of the shots had been to the head, either of which would have proved fatal. Cody Lott, 20, confessed to shooting the 2 friends as they walked home from school together, admitting he was attracted to the girl he killed, but was angry that she had a boyfriend, according to an arrest affidavit. He also said he planned and thought it out after talking to the devil about it. Lauren Landovazo, 13, died after being shot more than a dozen times, while her 13-year-old best friend Makayla Smith survived, authorities said. Makayla told investigators she and Lauren were walking home in an alley near school when she spotted a man she didn't know in a parked car, according to the affidavit. She said the man made eye contact with her before whipping out a rifle and opening fire on them. Authorities found 15 shell casings at the scene of the crime, the affidavit says. Police believe Lauren was shot 14 times and Makayla once. Cody Austin Lott watched Lauren Landovazo from the windows of his parents' apartment for a year before he decided the day had come to shoot the 13-year-old with a semi-automatic rifle from his stepfather's gun safe. Lott told police in a videotaped interview shown to the jury during his murder trial. "Something charged me up, and I just jumped in my car, and I unloaded on them," Lott said during the interview. Lott drove a gold Tahoe to the end of an alley a short distance away, positioned the rifle with its clip of 30 rounds through the car window, and fired until all the bullets were gone, he told police. A single bullet punched 3 entry wounds into Smith's upper body, where the piece of metal remains lodged. His detailed descriptions of the shooting on the videotape sent several observers fleeing the courtroom in tears and made Bianca Landavazo, Lauren Landovazo's mother, weep softly. That Friday afternoon, Lott first trained the rifle on Lauren Landovazo, he said in the interview. She looked at him with a smirk, like it was a joke, he said. Lott swept the rifle's barrel across Lauren Landavazo's body and then turned the gun on Smith, who was still standing there, according to the police interview. "It was like I was in a video game," Lott said. He shot Smith too, even though his plan had been to kill only Lauren Landovazo, he told police. He was surprised by Lauren Landovazo's shrieks because he thought she was going to die instantly, Lott told police. She started just wailing and just screaming, Lott said. It got my attention. He aimed the gun back at her and fired at her head this time, he said in the interview. I didn't want her to suffer, Lott said. Lauren Landovazo was shot 15 times, the life draining out of her in the alleyway, according to earlier testimony. Lott drove away and was surprised when he wasn't caught right away, he told police. Right after I shot them, I lit up a joint, he said. Lott tossed the gun into a field, but then he went back twice to retrieve it, putting it back in the gun case, he told police. Lott was arrested September 4th, 2016, on a tip from a 911 caller, according to testimony. He had thought he might get away with the shooting, he said in the interview. It was all fun and games until they came on TV and said they had a description of the vehicle, and I said, Lott said, using foul language. The first reason he gave Killingsworth for the shooting was that jealousy sparked in him of Lauren Landovazo and her boyfriend, who he said was just a punk-looking kid. But over the course of hours, Lott produced a jumble of reasons that didn't always make sense for Killingsworth and WFPD Detective Charles Casillas, who took over the last part of the interview. The two detectives built up a rapport with Lott. He laughed and seemed to enjoy the conversation at times. But Lott also rambled about how the devil had helped him, that an unnamed bunch of people were after him because he knew about their religion, and how his birth date had some sort of special meaning.
I'd seen that girl walk in multiple times with her boyfriend, and her boyfriend was just a little punk-looking kid that wasn't no man. So it kind of just sparked a jealousy in me, man, and I felt that was the way I was going to handle it. Well, the day before, I got all dressed up, and I was going to just go approach the girl, and I thought, the every girl I try to be respectful to and be nice to, man, they say Albert Einstein says crazy. The definition of crazy is just repeating the same thing. So it's like, it's an obvious thing that I guess just, me being, looking how I do or whatever, me being nice is something that wasn't going to get me nowhere. I had to try something else too, because it's like, sitting there with the gun, and I was watching out the window, man, waiting for them she'd been walking by herself every day, so Lauren was the only target in the area, and I saw her walk by with her friends, and I'll tell you right now, when I saw her walking with black friends, I said, oh, hell no, we're not going to go down this path. I felt something charge me up, and I jumped in my car, and I just met them at that end of the alley, man, and I unloaded on them. But that was the person who had raped me, man. It wasn't Lauren, it was the boyfriend. He had his hair growing. I don't know how to like he had his hair just not giving a shit, and he just looked like some bum off the street, and I said, you know what, like, I've been lost a good girl to some dumb piece of shit, I'm not gonna do it, man. When I pulled out my heart, man, like, I had a Tonka, I had my shit together, man. Yeah. I've waited long enough, is what I said in my mind, like, I've been patient, I'm pissed at God, I was. Now, because I knew this girl was gonna end up choking in a couple of years, and there's all kinds of evil going on, man. So in my mind, I saved her from the evil of this world, and also was kind of a sacrifice to the devil. I wanted a girl like this girl I killed that was worth a shit. That's why I say, God, you sent me all these pieces of shit. Here's a gift to you, Here's how I would have done you, is what I was trying to tell God. This is who I would have sent you. Look how generous I am, man. You got to send me all these pieces of shit. Why not give me what I want? That's all I want. I've had everything, man. I've had a brand new truck. Had every drug you can think of. But right now, man, I can't even explain to you. I'm going to the job, but I'm still so happy, I'm so happy. I can't explain why. I didn't feel happy until I got in here. It was kind of a sacrifice to the devil. Because I've been talking to the devil a lot. He's the one that told me to do that. My birthday is 1796. And if you flip that around, like the 6 and the 9, the 6 represents up the sun. People color up the sun. It's red, it's represented with the color red. The 9, the color blue. You put those together, that's purple. I've been burning purple incense in my house and talking to the devil and hexagrams and pentagrams and all kinds of esoteric symbols. So, burning those purple, when they covered the news that her favorite color was purple, I knew that it was something that was meant to be. Like, it was not something that was my sign out there. They because I think of myself as the 8, because when I went down to Houston stuff, all the satanic guys, talked to me like I was the Antichrist and like I was telepathic. I had all this stuff that like my bloodline just matched in with these guys that I only looked up Charles Manson and the True Satanist, and I got blown, and I had to go into the woods in Houston for 4 days. There was guys out there changing into wolves. They had trailers in there. Like, I was exposed to some pretty serious shit, man. So that is what, I mean, I didn't know anything about, I didn't know everything got put together about Charles Manson's scapegoat and this blood sacrifice. That was a sacrifice, like me sacrificing, it sounds twisted. Like, instead of those people sacrificed a person for their benefit, like, I was kind of sacrificing myself for her benefit around mine. Like, there's a band called Bullet for My Valentine.
A jury gave Cody Lott the maximum punishment for the murder of Lauren Landovazo, 13, and the aggravated assault of Makayla Smith, after about 18 minutes of deliberation. Lott is to serve life in prison for the murder and 20 years for the aggravated assault, as well as pay total fines of $20,000. He will receive credit for nearly 750 days served. By state law, Lott will be eligible for parole after he has served 30 calendar years. No newspaper or television can bring you the odor of fresh blood, Special Prosecutor Ron Pools said in the first portion of the state's closing statements. You've got to be at the crime scene. Pools' voice broke at times while discussing what the witnesses experienced in that Wichita Falls alleyway. Pools said he needed a tissue, as did others during the testimony of Makayla Smith, Makayla Smith's mother, but Lott didn't need one because he doesn't have a conscience. He's violent, he's vicious, and he is a predator, Pools said. Thanks for joining me on this episode. If you like what we do, please like and subscribe. We thank you for the support. Please take care of yourselves. Till next time.